What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, last night, Canelo Alvarez, he revealed why he is ducking David Benavidez and hesitant to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. And again, I have to say this again, the commentators, the networks, and the promoters are also hurting the sport of boxing. They understand and are aware of what the fans want to see, which is David Benavidez. But because they're catering to Canelo Alvarez and don't want to upset Canelo Alvarez, right? They don't want to mention David Benavidez to Canelo Alvarez. And it's disappointing because David Benavidez is a premier boxing champion fighter. Canelo Alvarez is a fight-by-fight fighter with the PBC, right? David Benavidez, long-term commitment, long-term loyalty to the PBC, and they know that David Benavidez is getting absolutely the runaround in this situation, and yet they refuse to give and put David Benavidez in a position where he could get the fight with Canelo Alvarez, the PBC, because they are catering to Canelo Alvarez. Why? Because Canelo Alvarez is the cash cow, brings a lot of money to the sport of boxing, a lot of money to these promoters and networks, so on and so forth. And so they cater to him, even at the expense of their very own fighters who've been loyal to them and homegrown. So with that said, at the drop of a dime, Canelo Alvarez will leave and go to a different network and a different promotional company, just like that, at the drop of a dime, right? Nonetheless, last night, Canelo beat Puerto Rican star title contender Edgar Berlanga, who has never fought for a world championship, never fought a former world champion or a champion, and has been at the contender level for quite some time. With 22 wins, now 1 loss, no draws, 17 wins by way of knockout. He never stepped up in competition, but nonetheless, he got the opportunity to leapfrog over David Benavidez and fight Canelo Alvarez. One has to question why. And Canelo Alvarez, who is now 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'7.5" with a 70-inch arm reach. Canelo Alvarez has 65 fights in his career. And he's had surgery on his shoulder, surgery on his hands, surgery on his knees. And that's the wear and tear that he's pointing to, that he has wear and tear on his body, right? But Canelo Alvarez has not had, a knockout in quite some time. Now, he's had knockdowns in his last few fights. He knocked down Edgar Berlanga in the 3rd round. He knocked down Jaime Munguia. He knocked down Jamel Charlo. He knocked down John Ryder. And he didn't knock down Triple G. He didn't knock down Bivol. And he stopped Caleb Plant. So it's been 3 years going on 4 years since Canelo Alvarez has had a knockout, right? And before the Caleb Plant fight, he had the Billy Joe Saunders and the Avni Yildirim knockout, right? But when you're watching the fight, it's a wonder why Canelo Alvarez is not trying to fight the Mexican Ecuadorian monster, David Benavidez, and he's very hesitant to fight Terrence Bud Crawford, right? David Benavidez is extremely big. He's very durable, and he has an extremely high work rate. He's 29 wins, no losses, no draws, 24 wins by way of knockout. He is 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. Now, David Benavidez has an extremely high work rate and power that you have to respect. And Canelo Alvarez is very much so aware of that, right? And Canelo Alvarez likes to fight at a very slow, lethargic pace, right? He likes to fight at a very slow, lethargic pace, right? And so his skill set has took a dip. His skill set has definitely took a dip. And his defense is not the same. His reflexes are not the same. And his stamina. If you watch the fight with him and Jaime Munguia, he paced himself until the second half of the fight is when he was more active. And then you watch this fight with Edgar Berlanga. In the second half of the fight with Edgar Berlanga, his punches didn't have the same on it. His output wasn't the same. His reflexes, getting out the way, his movement wasn't the same. It took a dip. It dropped off. And so with that said, this is why he's hesitant to fight David Benavidez, because David Benavidez's work rate is extremely high. He's very durable, and he has power in both hands. He's very big. And when it comes to Terrence Bud Crawford, he's very reactive. Terrence Bud Crawford is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. He's slightly taller than Canelo. He has a 4.5-inch arm reach advantage over Canelo. And he has power in both hands. He's versatile. He can fight in the southpaw orthodox stance. And he's very quick, especially for Canelo. And Canelo is very understanding of that. That's why he's hesitant to fight against Terrence Bud Crawford. Because why? He can't keep up that pace anymore. You watch the second half of the fight. Canelo Alvarez cannot keep up the pace he once did. He just can't do it anymore. And this is why he's hesitant to make these fights happen. And the fact that the networks and the promotional company didn't mention David Benavidez, the whole world wants to see David